B4. Miss. F7. Miss. G2. Arr, you sunk my battleship. Hello and welcome to another episode of TrekHammer, where we're talking about every episode of Star Trek from the original series right through to the modern stuff. Today, we're talking about an absolute classic episode, Balance of Terror. So this one, as I said in the intro, is an absolute classic. It's that typical submarine warfare in space style, and I think The Wrath of Khan actually owes an awful lot to the stylings of this episode. It's a real classic for multiple reasons. We get to see Captain Kirk as the strategic commander that he is. In fact, the Romulan commander actually calls him a sorcerer at one point, which is quite cool. And we also get to see the Federation as, yes, they're a bunch of the best, but there's still prejudice in there because humans are human and they're going to do certain things, especially under stressful situations. So we have the Navigator, who doesn't like Romulans. Not many of the Federation do like Romulans at this point. We're in a bit of a stalemate Cold War with them, and when he sees that the Romulans look like Vulcans, he decides that, well, clearly Vulcans are as bad as Romulans, so he gets a bit iffy. And Kirk calls him out on it. One of the best scenes in the original series.
Leave any bigotry in your quarters. There's no room for it on the bridge.
Love it. Absolutely love it. So, what's the situation that we're in? Some of the neutral zone listening posts, the points that are protecting the Federation's border against the Romulan Empire, are disappearing. But there's no ship attacking them. There's nothing there. Because the Romulans have got a cloaking device. And it's really well presented. We get to see it from the point of view of not just Kirk and crew, but one of the stations that's about to be destroyed. We get to see it from their point of view as well. And it's so well done. It's presented as a proper Cold War submarine movie. Can they see us? Can we see them? We're going to hunt. We're going to try and find them. We're going to get into their shadow and make their sensors look like they're malfunctioning and just showing off a shadow or a mirror effect. So good strategically. And it's got real Hunt for Red October vibes. I know this came up before that, but you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of submarine warfare, and it's really, really well done. This is one of the pinnacles of the original series. It is absolutely fantastic. So, the acting is great as well. I really do believe, when I'm watching it, that the guy at the navigation table, if he had the chance, would absolutely throttle Mr. Spock, just because he looks like a Romulan. It's that kind of stress to that kind of level. It's really well done. Kirk is portrayed really well. Shatner is doing a hell of a job. He's actually a really good actor when he's given the time to develop the role. And I know we always go for the "I am Captain Kirk" and all of that, but some of these episodes are shot last minute with incredibly last minute script changes. Like you're going in and having to remember it right there and then. That kind of time limit. So when Kirk is given time to develop, Shatner can actually do a really, really good job. And I love it. Leonard Nimoy, always on point with Spock, of course, and he does the job well as the guy that, even though people are hating him for what he looks like, he's still going to do his job, and he's not going to let prejudice get to him. So when Navigator Guy goes to help out the torpedoes and then gets hurt, Spock straight in there to the rescue. And it's really well done. It's great. And then at the end, they all kind of become friends again. Speaking of friends, one of the best lines in the entire original series, the Romulan commander right at the end, "In another universe or another time, I could have called you friend," that kind of thing. It's like, they understand each other. Both of them are a victim of the circumstance, essentially. If the Romulans weren't governed by the way they are, they could have all been friends. And that eventually happens, of course. We see it in Discovery when Romulus and Vulcan rejoin together. It's really good. And it's nice. It's like we get to see right from the first introduction of the Romulans that plot point that will keep going for 50 years. It's fantastic. The seeds were right there from the start. This is an amazing episode. I've tried my best to cover little plot points without fully spoiling it, because I think it really is worth watching without knowing too much about it going in. So good. So, I have no qualms whatsoever in this quick review saying warp factor 10 for the score. Warp factor 10, Mr. Sulu. Let's get it going. It is that good. I wouldn't change a thing. Absolutely wouldn't. What do you think, though? Because I always like to have a conversation about Star Trek with you guys. What do you think about this episode? Do you agree with me that it's one of the pinnacles? Or do you think there are some things that could have been done better? Or do you just not like it at all? I'd love to hear from you. Put a comment down below. We'll have a conversation about Star Trek. Always love a conversation with you guys about Star Trek. But until next time, I've been Zoe Kirk Robinson. You've been watching TrekHammer Quick Reviews. I'll see you later for another episode. Live long and prosper.